So here's the truth. You can't afford to make less than 6 figures as a coach, and in this video, I'm gonna tell you why. Welcome back. My name is LaTisha Styles, founder of You've Got Clients, where we help coaches build their coaching programs with high quality clients. It's gotten a little bit cliche where people are talking about, I wanna get to 6 figures, I can't wait to get to 6 figures, and I get it. My flagship program is called The Path to 6 Figures, so I completely understand that that's always the goal. But here's the truth. You actually can't afford to make less than 6 figures as a full-time coach. And here's why. Number one, taxes. So as a self-employed business owner, you'll pay around 30% or more depending on where you live. Number two, expenses. With one assistant, maybe a tech stack to help you run the business, hiring a coach or a mentor to help you along the way, and not to mention people to write your sales pages, someone to set up all your text, someone to handle legal issues for you, and you're looking at around another 30% gone at a minimum. If you were to make $100,000, that leaves you with about $40,000. Divide that by 24 weeks in the year, and that's a paycheck of around $1,666. Does that really excite you? Especially when you're pouring your heart and soul into helping clients. So a recent Forbes article mentioned that around 1,500 coaches are joining the industry every single year. And in the US alone, the estimated market for the coaching industry was expected to grow to 1.34 billion by 2022. And that is just in the US. Now, the good news is there is room for you. You don't need 1.34 billion in order to survive as a coach, but you do need a little bit more than 6 figures. And the cool thing is that you can actually do it with as few as around 2 clients per month. So I want to share with you the profit planner and help you determine how you can actually make this happen, and also share all the numbers and how it actually works. All right, I want to share with you the profit planner, but first I have to establish why a profit plan. Well, statistics show that 8 of 10 businesses fail in the first year, and that's because they're missing one of these 3 keys to business success. So the first one is consistency, meaning do you have a consistent flow of revenue? So that could be from payment plans or just because you know you have a solid flow of new potential clients lining up to pay. The second is reliability. So that means, do you have diversified revenue or are you dependent on one source? For a coaching business, this looks like having multiple group coaching clients versus depending on income from one large private client, just to give an extreme scenario. The third is predictability. That means, do you know how many people you expect to come in the door today? So if you spend X amount on advertising, how many clients will it yield? Those 3 keys, just like the legs on a stool, provide stability. And that is why I created the profit planner, because the big question that you have to answer for yourself is how many offers do you need to reach your revenue goal? So I want to walk you through the profit planner. I've got it filled out right now with a goal of around 70,000 with a $1,500 package, but I want to share with you what this looks like if you have a 6-figure goal or multiple 6-figure goal. Okay, let's assume that your revenue goal is 150,000 for your first sort of 6-figure goal. Once again, 100,000 is not quite enough, so we're just going to bump it up to 150,000. And if you'd like a copy of this profit planner template, just comment below and we can get you a copy if you'd like to play around with the numbers. Basically, all we're going to do is change the numbers that are in these light pink areas, and I'm going to explain to you how this all works out. So if your revenue goal is 150,000 for the year and you have a coaching package or offer that is priced around 5,500 or 5,000, it doesn't really matter. If you've got something priced there and you know that you can close about 1 of every 4 people that you speak to, so that's a 25% closing rate, that means that you'll need 30 clients for the year to get you to your goal. And if we were to split it out into 12 months, that means you need 3 clients per month. If we back into your closing rate and the number of clients you need, that means you'll need about 120 calls throughout the year. And if we divide that over the months, that means you'll need about 2.3 calls per month. It makes a lot more sense if we price a little bit higher, because then you really only need around 2 calls per month. But this is just for people that are in your intro package. And generally speaking, your intro package is going to be a little bit of a more accessible price point. This is where we have like our $5,000 offer, our $10,000 offer, and then we've got our higher price point packages, which are 70, 80, 100,000 for the right client. And that's obviously going to help you to reach whatever goal that you have here. But once again, that's going to depend on where you are, your level of belief in yourself, and a couple of different factors. So if you were to do this math and look at it, it takes you around 2 calls per month. Now there's a lot of different ways that you can get these calls booked. I like these 2 ways, but some people prefer cold DMs, cold calling, spamming, or trolling groups. I don't particularly like those, and I know that it's not necessary. So generally speaking, these are the 2 methods that I suggest, and these are the ones that I prefer, but it's up to you. You can send emails to book calls, or you can create ads to build your email list with potential buyers, nurture them, and then bring them over to book a call. So generally speaking, from your email list, this is like your warm audience, about 5% will come over to book a call with you. So that means that you'll need an email list of about 2,182 leads. And these are people who are interested specifically in what you have to offer. Now, the way that I like doing this is I like to build this list with buyers, and not just people who are looking for something free, but people who are interested in getting help with the specific thing that I help with. I do have a video where I talk a little bit more about that, so I won't go into that right now, but just know that if you already have an email list and you've got, several thousand people on there, you probably can go ahead and send some emails to book calls, but you might not have as high of a conversion rate if it's a list filled with people who came because, they just got a free download or a free PDF or something like that. The second way that I like doing it is to create ads to build your email list. And we're not just creating ads so that then we can convert here, but with the ads, we're actually also using the ads to directly book calls. Now, once again, there's a method that I like using here, but the method that I like using here involves capturing an email address. So generally speaking, right now from Facebook, you can get an email anywhere from around $4 to $10, and that's going to depend on what you're offering and a lot of different factors. But there's some things that used to work with Facebook ads that don't work anymore, and then there's actually some things that stopped working that are working again, which I'm really excited about just based on some of the changes that they've made. So right now we're getting leads on our email list for like 98 cents, which is kind of unheard of, and those people are translating over into this email list, and some of them are coming through it and booking calls. Obviously there's some filtering that you have to do there. So that's the second thing that I would suggest. So if we were to just take that ad spend and then kind of divide it out over 365 days, that's a daily ad spend of around almost $24. So what types of ads do you create? Once again, not really the video where I can go into that, but if that's a video that you would like, I can break down the entire ad strategy that we use so that we only have to, spend around this much to start getting our goal here. Now, I do want to play around with some of the numbers again, because, when this gets really fun is when you learn how to create a 5-figure coaching offer, because now not only do you need fewer calls, you also need fewer clients, and that allows you to reach your goal. And we can start kind of playing around with where we really want to be, which is creating a business that not only supports us, but also is something where we're able to support our family and really do the things that we want to do with the money, including buying the things we want to buy, or, some of the things that we desire to do with it. So once again, if you'd like a copy of this, let me know in the comments, and I'll be able to send you a copy over. I'll have to, add some information so I can make sure to get it over to you. But if you just comment below, let me know that you'd like a copy, we'll get a copy over to you. So what do you think? It looks pretty manageable, right? I mean, can you handle around 2 calls per week? Especially if you're doing this maybe on the side, you're just kind of getting going, you're trying to transition. It's difficult to think of getting your calendar booked with like 100 or 200 something calls per week. But if you can handle around 2 calls per week, and then what you need to do to manage the clients that you have coming in, you can create a coaching business that generates 6 figures and multiple 6 figures. A simple planner like this one has allowed me to stay on track and create a multiple 6-figure business, and a business that has generated $1 million selling coaching, courses, and consulting since I've started. Now, from the outside looking in, honestly, it might seem like I did this overnight, but I started my email list with 6 email subscribers. Now, the turning point when I started booking clients consistently, it seems like it took forever, but I will tell you what made all the difference. So let me take you back to when I first started my coaching business. Hello, my name is LaTisha Styles, and I am chronicling my journey of rebranding. I decided to take my business in a completely different direction in about October of 2015. Essentially, I'm sort of starting from scratch. So a little bit of background. I created youngfinances.com at the end of 2010, in December of 2010. Today it's November 23rd, 2015. And so it's been almost 5 years. I feel like I'm sort of ready to move on from that brand. The reason why it's so important to me to chronicle this journey is because, as I mentioned, I'm sort of starting from scratch. So I am building my email list from scratch. I started out with 0 names. And then within 12 months, I'd like to build a coaching business, a business that is sustained by only my coaching, my one-on-one services, as well as my workshops and my group courses or group programs. And I'm so thankful that I am happily depositing $10,000 per month into my bank account from my business. Now that video is 100% me. So I cringe a little bit when I share that video, but it's important to share it because I recorded that video at my parents' house. It was Thanksgiving and I had finally made the decision to take action. Before I got there, I was driving home. So I was driving back to my parents' house from Memphis. I lived in Tennessee at the time with my husband. And as I was driving to Memphis, I made the decision to make my very first large investment. I made an investment of $8,000 with a coach that I admired. And this was really me taking the leap. And I didn't know what was gonna happen. I just knew that I believed in myself enough to take action. And I knew that I was gonna do whatever I had to do. I knew that I was gonna listen to whatever she said. If she, told me to double my rates, which is what she told me to do at one point, I was gonna do it. Like, I knew that I was the type of person that was gonna take action. So I recorded that video to chronicle my starting point, to say, this is where I'm starting. I've got no email subscribers. I want to make $10,000 per month. And at the time, I didn't know that 6 figures wasn't going to be enough. I just knew that I wanted to get there first. So I completely understand if that's your initial goal, because I think it's a great initial goal. And then once you get there, you kind of realize that the carrot stick has to move just a little bit. But obviously first we got to get to that first carrot stick, right? And the reason I hired a coach was because I knew that there was information out there that I just didn't have. In the past, I had tried to do things on my own. I had tried to DIY it. And finally I said, I'm ready to just get help. And part of what I was able to get from working with a coach was working on my mindset, understanding the things that I had to do, but also the person I had to be in order to get to where I wanted to be. And I was really excited to say that in 3 months, I hit my first $5,000 month. And it wasn't long after that I had my first 5-figure month, and I brought in $11,000. And then I did it again. And then I figured out that I had created a system for me, something that works for me and for my introvert nature. And I just started doing that over and over and over again. So when you find what works, keep doing it. Do what works. When you figure out something that works for you and you enjoy doing it, then just do what works. And so I just want to break down the numbers for you. If you are still trying to get to 6 figures, or if you're trying to get to multiple 6 figures, like when I went from 100,000 to $250,000, I did that the very next year. And I did that by breaking the numbers down. So similar to the profit planner that I showed you, I want to break the numbers down of my very first 5-figure month, because sometimes, I realize sometimes it's difficult to wrap your brain around, well, where is the money coming from? I remember I was following a coach and she said she had made $300,000 in a year. And I just kept thinking, where is the money coming from? Can you just break it down for me? So that's what I'm gonna do for you. I'm gonna break it down, okay? So in the month that I made $11,000, I booked 2 clients at $3,333, and they both paid in full, thankfully. So those weren't sales that were pending cash. They actually both paid in full. And then I had some money that was coming in from affiliate stuff, some money that was coming in from YouTube videos I had created where I was still getting some ad money. And then I also had a retainer client that was paying me, I think he was paying me $700 or $800 at the time. And so all of that money kind of added up, and that's how I was able to hit $11,000 that very first time. And then from there, once you see that it's possible and you have that momentum, you just start moving. Now, by the end of the year, I had made around $65,000 in my coaching business. I was super, super, super excited. And at the same time, I was ready to get to $100,000. But I ran into the first mistake that most struggling coaches make. And I'm gonna share that mistake in my very next video. So if you click the button, you'll be able to go to that video and see that number 1 mistake. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.